so excited for today. Welcome, everybody. This is so exciting. We're going to Scotland. Two things. One, this is the land of the unicorn. That's pretty much our spirit animal. And Leah taught me that the cows cuddle with you. I've seen pictures, maybe just with two people on the internet, but they're so adorable, the Highland cattle. Oh my gosh, those are those big fluffy brown cows. Anyways, this is Unrestricted Hotness, which is a FAMS from AFAR show. I am Nicole, the president and co-founder of Haute Dokimazo, and I'm here with Liz, and we started this a couple months ago, where maybe people have heard of the little secret family reunion can't talk today, that we did. And as we started to say, okay, well, where are we going to go next year in 2021? We obviously can't get on planes. So here we are every single Friday. We have Fridays filled all the way through the end of November with different destinations, which is so exciting. And we will take you to see destinations, properties, different things, might throw a little bit of a twist in there sometimes, the way that Liz and I would see it, which is the most untraditional, not box packaged kind of fam trip that you've ever seen. Little crazy, super fun. Along the way, we're literally growing our hot family with all of our friends like Siobhan, Adams, and Butler. And I can't even imagine when we start to travel, I'm just not even going to be home. So I will introduce Liz and we'll kick it off.
Well, thank you, Nicole. And hello, everybody. And like Nicole said, we like to see these places with our friends. And so we meet new friends everywhere we go because Nicole grabs them and hugs them. So we have just virtually hugged everybody across all of Scotland. And I cannot wait to meet the Loch Ness Monster. I believe we have a very special moment with them. And I'm here. I'm ready. I've got my fishing line out. I don't know what he eats, but I'm ready for it. So I hope you are too. Where are we going first, Nicole?
We're going to, hold on.
Siobhan, yes. Hi, Siobhan.
Hi, how are you?
Spectacular. How are you?
Yeah, I've just spent the last week driving all over Scotland. I was all over Glencoe with Charles, you're going to meet later. I was Glasgow. I went into Balmoral Castle. I went over to the Isle of Skye. I was all over the countryside. Driving through Speyside today, the Cairngorms, absolutely fantastic places. But where I ended up today, and the thing I have to tell you is, you know that I love the properties around Scotland so much, like Glen Eagles, the Old Course, one of the newest ones that we've been using, the Grand in Edinburgh. But I'm in Five Arms now, and it's absolutely amazing. So I am going to turn the camera around so that you can see what this property is like, and then I'll pass you over to Vivian. So this is just an amazing property, and it's sort of like the quintessential Scottish country feel. It's a fantastic village. The property situated right in the village is very quirky. There's lots of little nooks and crannies, and it is absolutely jam-packed. So I'm going to introduce you as well to some of the people that I met, and later I might even bring you to my bedroom. So I am just going to turn off.
Every time we go on a trip with you, we go into a bedroom with you.
You're going to go to my bedroom later.
Always a story.
Is I'm going to show you this wonderful property. It's absolutely fantastic. The 5-star Five Arms. We've lovely people all around.
Excuse me, can you tell me the name of the property? I missed that.
It's the Five Arms Hotel in Braemar in Scotland. And I'm going to introduce you to some Irish people I met at the door as well when I came in.
Wait. Could you please, I'm sorry, I'm really
We're going to drop it in the chat for you, not to worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are people from Belfast that I met at the door, and it's a really, really friendly property. Now, these kind folks have very kindly allowed me to introduce you to them, but I'm going to be a little bit quieter going through the other rooms. So just to give you an idea, this is the reception area.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Hi. Everyone is so friendly. It's just absolutely amazing. And as I said, I'll be bringing you to my bedroom later. I'm just going to pop into this little shop here.
Woohoo!
And here we have people. There's lots of Scottish things you can buy here. Look at all the duff, the books, the antlers, the tweeds, the tartans, everything.
Go a little slower, Siobhan. We can't see everything too well.
Sorry, I always do that. That's me. but it just gives you an idea of what the property is like. And again, it's a new property to add to those wonderful iconic properties, as I mentioned before, like the Glen Eagles, the Grand Edinburgh, and the Old Course. So just bringing you back into the main area. And I might even try running outside to show you the front, and then I'll come back in, just to show you the front, to show you how well situated it is. Oops, friendly doorman.
Hello.
So here, you can see the village.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to bring you back in. And this time,
So
slow.
cute.
It is very beautiful. So the next time I see you all, my lovely people, I'll see you up in my bedroom.
Yes.
So just bringing you in now. Oh, I'm going to the bar, the Flying Stag. Whoops.
I love a good bar.
And the noises of a bar.
Whoa. That's something.
Wow.
Does
Beautiful.
it have wings?
Well, it is magical in Scotland, but no, Nicole.
Oh, well. I want
The reindeer can't fly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Trick, lots of things for everyone and very different.
Ooh.
So there's a giant spider.
I don't know about that.
Giant spider. Okay, my husband's not going there.
So I'll see you later, and I shall pass you on to Vivian.
Oh my goodness, that was whirlwind. Incredible. All right, Vivian. Where is Vivian? There she is. Hi, Vivian.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Okay, we've lost Vivian. We've lost your sound.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going
Have you got me now?
Yes.
Have you got me now? You got me back?
Yes.
Okay. So the hotel, Siobhan just showed you the outside of the hotel, and it was built in 1852 by Prince Albert when Queen Victoria's guests were coming up to visit her. So it's an old coaching inn, and it's in the village of Braemar that's got 450 people in it. So we have a drawing room here, we have a boot room.
Vivian, can you move the camera a little more slowly? I'm getting seasick.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the hotel
Yes,
is owned
what is
by...
the name? Is it still the Five Arms?
We'll
Yes.
put it in the chat.
So the hotel is owned by Houser and Worth, of acclaimed Houser and Worth art dealers. And it's got 16,000 pieces of art in the hotel,
Holy moly.
including a Martin Creed, a Picasso, Freud. That spider that Siobhan showed you is a Louise Bourgeois spider. The original one is the huge one outside the Guggenheim Museum. Now we're coming into the library.
I don't see the library yet. I just see this incredible looking scraggly dog.
Ruffy. It's live, people.
The Werewolves of Scotland. Great. Now I'm going to be singing Werewolves of London for the rest of the week. Luckily, it's Friday. Oh, goodness.
All right, we might have lost.
I think we lost Vivian.
Okay. Should we maybe jump to Katie?
We can. I have a video ready. We can jump to the video, and if Vivian comes back up, then we can go back to Vivian. So
Yeah.
I believe, where are we now? We are headed to the Scottish Highlands, I was told.
That was beautiful.
I feel like I'm on Highlander.
Woo! Yes!
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I don't know that Vivian made it back. Do we see Vivian? Okay, then Katie, looks like you're ready. We're going to jump over to you, Katie.
Hi, everyone. Lovely to see you all. We're just a couple of miles down the valley from the Five Arms, just outside Braemar. And my name's Katie Fenema. And along with my husband, Julian, we run Braemar Highland Experience. My family has been in this area for, we know, at least 300 years. And I'm very proud to introduce people to it that come here. Braemar, in the heart of the Cairngorms National Park, our largest national park in the UK, and home to four of our highest mountains. And Braemar has just 450 people. It's a tiny village, but it's a village that will give you a very big welcome when you come here. Just off shot to my right is Balmoral Castle, where the Queen is currently staying. She loves it here. She comes here for 2 months every year. She says it's the only chance she gets to spend 2 months in the same bed. Braemar is particularly famous for the Braemar Gathering, which should have been taking place tomorrow, but unfortunately not this year for very obvious reasons. But it's been attended by the royal family ever since they took on Balmoral Castle in 1848. And the royal family love it here for the same reasons I do. We've got stunning landscapes to explore. And our business is based around four main things: on-road tours, both locally and further afield. We can also take you down remote glens to see golden eagles flying above you and red deer on the hills. We do guided walking tours, both at a low level, and behind me you might see our beautiful mountain of Loch Ness rising to 1,150 metres, and we love guiding clients up there too. The final thing we do, and the most important thing really for me right now, is we introduce our clients to whiskey. So from Braemar, Slange.
What you said, that's amazing. I feel like I kind of want you to go back into the sunshine and spin around. No? Yeah, do it with your whiskey. Oh, here goes. Yes, this is better than Sound of Music.
Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful. So, yeah, and drinking the whiskey. There you go.
So good.
So I was just with Katie earlier today in her wonderful home. So we can invite people there for lunches and dinners as well and do stuff like that. Can I show you my bedroom when Katie's finished?
Yes, let's see your bedroom, Siobhan. Thank you, Katie.
It's just amazing. I'm going to try and do the rear camera, and I shall go as slow as possible. So this is the Jacobite room. Now this is the bedroom. You can see it's fantastic. You can see the village outside, the flags flying. It's a very sunny day, and I don't know if that's apparent from the video. The furnishings are just amazing. Absolutely fantastic.
Wait, there's two twin beds?
Yes, that's how Europe works.
Richard was meant to be with my son.
Oh, nice. I'd fall off.
And someone's beautiful bay windows. Yes, there's beautiful bay windows. I'm just hoping you don't see my suitcase. I only arrived about an hour ago and I dumped everything on the ground. But just
how I roll.
The bathroom. I'm hoping I left that in a decent state. I think it's okay, sort of.
Looks great.
The lovely bath now. What am I showing you? That's the bath there. The sink, everything, like all the rooms are themed. And it's a beautiful green colour. I don't know what colour it is. It's sort of like a sage. But it really is.
If you fancy.
So
everything I imagined it would be in a hotel in Scotland.
Yeah, and it really is an amazing property. It's a pity we can't show you the other properties that are all over Scotland because there really is such a wealth of properties you can stay. Fantastic for any type of itinerary on any theme. So passing back over to yourselves, and I might run down to Vivian now.
Amazing. Angus?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I just don't see you yet. Where are you?
Angus, there we go.
There he is.
Hi. So fancy.
How are we all?
Fantastic.
Great. Well, Welcome to St Andrews, the home of golf. I'm here from the Old Course Hotel Golf Resort and Spa, and I'm currently in one of our properties, Hamilton Grand Apartments, which I'm up on the rooftop bar actually, and I'm going to show you some amazing views. But I'm just going to give the slight caveat that today in Scotland it is blowing a hoolie, and it's a bit windy, so you might not quite hear what I have to say when I go outside. But I'm going to go outside. I'm going to try. I'm going to show you all the views, and then I might come back inside to chat a little bit about St Andrews and the Old Course Hotel. So here we go.
Okay.
I'm adding that into my vocabulary. Blowing a hoolie.
Oh, look at this. Oh.
So here we are. So sorry if it's too windy, but this is the home of golf and the Old Course St Andrews. So you can see down below to the right there, that is the first tee of the Old Course. And this is the pilgrimage for many golfers in Scotland. A huge bucket list trip and an amazing day. But yeah, you can see it's a beautiful, quite blustery, but very typical Scottish kind of end of summer autumnal day. So it's an amazing place to come and visit. At the end there, over in the distance, you can see the Old Course Hotel. And from there, you can see we're also under a little bit of renovation at the moment. So an amazing extension is being built to the hotel at the moment. I'm going to just go over this side and show you down towards the beach. Sorry if you can't hear me. It's just,
that is an epic.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
So this is probably one of the best views for golf course fans or for scenic fans anywhere in Scotland. It's an amazing place. Down below here is the R&A Clubhouse. This is where the rules of golf are administered, and along with the USGA and over in the States, this is kind of where golf is administered from. And then in the distance there, this is the West Sand Beach. So I don't know if you can see, but in the water there, we've got some guys doing some water activities. So there's a company here called Blown Away that do kayaking and land yachting and surfing and all that kind of stuff. It's a brisk 13 degrees in there maybe today, so you've got to be pretty brave to go in.
That's Celsius. What's that mean, John?
Mid-50s probably, maybe not, maybe less. I don't know. But yeah, so an amazing spot. But St Andrews is kind of in preparation, I guess, really for the Open Championship, which is returning to us in 2022. So the best players in the world will be returning here to play in the 150th Open Championship. And I'm just going to pop back inside so you can hear me again from here, and I'll just leave you with this view as well. So St Andrews is an amazing place. The Old Course Hotel is a 5 red-star hotel with currently 144 bedrooms, but the extension you can see in the distance takes us up to 175. We've got some amazing event spaces right looking out onto the golf course. And that is being renovated as we speak in time for hospitality for the Open in 2022. And we've also got an amazing 4th floor, which is going to be extended for that as well. So beautiful views out over the golf course in the West Sands. And then the little white building you can see in front of the hotel is actually the Jigger Inn. And the Jigger Inn is a real kind of old man's pub that a lot of the golfers like to go and visit, have a couple of whiskies and pints pre or post golf, depending on what time your tea time is. So
or during.
Yeah. Nancy said her grandfather was a champion golfer, and his picture is at the old house. So he was probably in the old man's pub. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've all been in there. So, but yeah, outside of golf, St Andrews is a very well-known place. It's got so many other things to do and see as well. We have the 3rd oldest university in the UK after Oxford and Cambridge, which obviously leads itself to a lot of very historic, beautiful buildings to go and see and visit. We also have our own castle and cathedral, which are all great activities to go and see and do when you're here. The town itself, I'm basically right in the middle of the town. This is one of the unique things about golf in Scotland is many of the courses play right into the heart of these old towns. So there's so many things to see and do, to shop, to visit different attractions, but also to eat and dine and go to the local bars and things. So it's a really vibrant place. An amazing place to come and visit, even if you're not a golfer. And yeah, we love to see you all here, and hopefully we can welcome you back sometime soon. I know one of the questions earlier on was how much does it cost to play the Old Course? Well, the Old Course Hotel is actually one of the authorised providers. So we're very lucky in that we can offer guaranteed tee times on the Old Course along with all the other great courses in the area. So if you have clients or you want to come and host a small meeting to get guys on the old course, we can facilitate it all for you through Adams and Butler. So happy to help with any of that. And if there's anything that we can do, then please feel free to reach out. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you back in St Andrews, hopefully, if not next year, the year after, or the years to come. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Angus.
Incredible. Wow. Thank you so much, Angus.
Why don't we ask Angus what his wife looks like?
Oh, Angus. Tell us.
Well,
now I must know.
Well, the funny thing is that my wife works at the Five Arms. So she's in Braemar, about an hour and a half north of here. And she's probably with Vivian and Siobhan at the moment. So there you go.
Hey, you can't see her. She's looking at you and saying hi. She said that she's bummed because you didn't do the dishes last night. So you'll have to talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask what's for dinner tonight, Angus.
Oh, come on now. Well, you drive home and I'll get the pizza in.
Oh, you guys are adorable. Thank you. That was so cool.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you.
Well,
Okay.
I have learned if you were joining and you were hearing my Tweed things, I have learned that there's Tweed that I need to have in my life. And then Liz said no, but we're going to go over to Kitty at the textile company and learn about some things.
We had Kitty. Kitty, there she is. Video back on.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
We can, and we see you. You're beautiful.
Hello. Okay, sure. You see me. That's great. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kitty, and I'm standing here on the Royal Mile. And this is the Royal Mile just right outside our building. Unfortunately, we were going to show you the view, but every time Leah steps outside, we lose reception. So we can't show you the view. But the Edinburgh Castle is that way, up the hill, and Holyrood Palace, the Queen's residence, when she comes to Edinburgh, is that way. And
You're
we're
talking about
halfway
me, right?
Hi there. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is take you inside. Are you looking at my nice scarf?
Gorgeous.
Oops, my Highland cow scarf there. I'm going to take you to the shop and show you what. Okay, okay. We just need to lock the door. Right, Leah, on you go. So, our shop is based inside this beautiful old church, which is called the Tron.
Wow.
And we're going to walk you through. And the really special thing about this church, keep coming, Leah,
Look at
is
that.
as well as these beautiful stained glass windows, the hammer beam roof. There's only 2 of these in Scotland,
Wow.
so 1 of 2. And then if we swing around, you get this beautiful entrance columns there. So it's really beautiful. It was started work in 1637, and it's no longer used as a church. But what's really exciting is what's underneath it is the oldest street in Scotland, the oldest cobbled street. So we are standing on the oldest cobbled street in Scotland. Leah, maybe just... Mm-hmm. So this is what is underneath us here.
Oh, wow.
So the
Oh,
building
my gosh.
Don't
yeah.
wear high heels.
And really, unfortunately, that's not open to the public, but you can come into the building and enjoy the building and read all about it and learn about it. And then at the back of the building, the sort of best kept secret is our little shop.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I love it.
How cool.
So everything we have here is made in Scotland, and we know every story behind all the different makers who make the products. And what we're about is celebrating Scottish craftsmanship. So when you come here, because when you come to the Royal Mile, people say we can find out about whiskey, but we can't find out about Scottish textiles. We want to know about tartan, about kilts, where to buy, how to get a kilt made, and perhaps how to get our own tartan made. And that's just where we can help you. Yes. So we know all the weavers, we know the designers. So if you wanted to have your own Harris Tweed, for example, which I'm holding here, or your own tweed, your own estate tweed, or if you wanted your own tartan, we can make that happen for you. So if you had somebody really special who wanted the colours put in for their family, we can make that happen.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is what people love. So Leah, maybe if you just come over here a bit. What we like to celebrate is meet the makers.
Yeah.
So we can take your clients on a Meet the Makers tour, as well as bringing them here. We can also do a Meet the Makers either locally here in Edinburgh. So you come here, we take you through all the products, and then we can also take you around the corner to see a bagpipe maker, to get measured up for your kilt. So we're really about connecting people with the story behind the product. And then on a bigger scale, we can do trips down to the Scottish borders to take people to visit the wool mills and actually see the mills in action, which we think is really, really exciting, really interesting thing to do. We have linen, so many people don't necessarily associate linen with Scotland, but there is one linen mill left in Scotland. And again, we want people to know about that story and to engage. I mean, just look at this. So beautiful linen scarves and lovely colours. And this is a linen throw. I mean, just great products, and all made to really, really high standards.
Wow.
We're big fans of I know you're big fans of the Highland Cow, and we are too.
Yeah.
And we've had this scarf, and it's been made exclusively for us, because so many visitors to our shop said, we've got a Highland Cow throw over here, which I'll show you.
I have to have a cuddle cow in my house.
I know.
There you go. There's the throw.
I'm imagining how soft it must feel.
And then we've got the scarf to go with it. Because
I
we
just
love
wanna
Highland Cows too.
This is amazing. You guys are great.
So I'll tell you what will interest you as well, Siobhan, because you've been up at the Five Farms. We have products here by Araminta Campbell, and Araminta designed the tartan for the Five Farms Hotel. So this is her beautiful alpaca. This is a pure alpaca throw, which is beautiful, incredibly soft. Made. And look at this lovely. Leah, can you zoom in on that? Beautiful tassels. I mean, really, really lovely. So that's a nice connection to Braemar and the Five Farms.
If anyone's listening, just to know that we can do all of this, including an itinerary, whatever the clients want. Whether it's tweed or if they want the tartans or the bike or anything. And Kitty and I are actually meeting again on Sunday morning to come up with new itineraries for clients, even bigger and better. So stay tuned.
Yeah, great.
Amazing.
Okay, do you want me to carry on? Is that enough?
Yeah, no, that's great. You're amazing.
Do you want a bit more? Do you want to see these Harris Tweed coats? I mean, these are stunning. These are made by a lady in Lanarkshire, and she uses a really, really traditional designs. But this is Harris Tweed, which is made, and we're big fans of Harris Tweed. So when you come here, we talk to you about Harris Tweed, how it's made, who makes it, the crofters who make it. So here we have Donald John Mackay, who's probably one of the most famous Harris Tweed weavers. And he lives, I'll show you a quick picture of where he lives. Here.
Oh, wow.
Let me just pull out my wallet.
And that is his house there. And he has to weave from his Hattersley loom from this cottage, because they all have to do it from a shed next door to their house. And from
you got to do what you got to do. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then they say from the land comes the cloth, and this is the cloth that he weaves. So you see beautiful blues, all inspired by his view. So can you see that? Leah's doing a close-up.
Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and they say the wool is dyed before it's spun, so that's why you get this really great depth of colour. And every thread has got so many colours in it. So we love that Harris Tweed story. And again, if people want to go up to Harris, we will introduce you to weavers so you can go and visit the weaver and get the real experience there.
So great. Thank you so much, Kitty. That was unbelievably gorgeous. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Right. It's been a pleasure. And we really look forward to welcoming people and, welcome to Scotland, to Edinburgh.
Thank you. All right. So now we are headed over to Loch Ness.
So welcome to my home. They have a saying which is it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And so lucky for me that place is here. So Slange.
Sandra. Sanjavar, your dog's awesome. That's your dog's name's Diggles, right?
Diggle. This is Diggle. Yeah. So I think I'd like to say I'm probably a little bit different from some of the others you're going to meet today because I'm old, I'm fat, I'm bald, but mainly because I'm sort of retired. And along with my best friend Bruce and my family, we still run a couple of small businesses. But before that, we both spent 30 years in the police. And we served all over the Highlands and Islands, and we finished up as the Deputy Chief Constable and the Head of Operations here in the north half of Scotland. So the reality is we've done enough of the serious side of life, and now we're just about having fun. And Highland Free Spirits is just that. It's a bit of fun. There's no airs, there's no graces. We just have a pleasant time out on the loch with some people who enjoy each other's company on a bonny wee boat. We always welcome our guests aboard with a glass or two of champagne. Well, it's a bottle or two of champagne, actually. Then we head out along the Caledonian Canal and out onto Loch Ness. There's a nice cosy saloon on the boat where you can sit and stay reasonably warm, or you can go out the back into the cockpit and you can be reasonably cold, or you can go up on the flybridge where you can feel the Scottish weather the way God intended in your face at 40 mile an hour. We're quite happy to chat to you, to tell you about the area, to share some war stories from our previous days. Enjoy the crack generally. If you get tired of us, you just tell us to go away. And we always say to our guests, you cannot offend us. No matter how you tell us to go away, somebody has said it to us worse on a Friday night somewhere. So anyway, I think what we should probably do now is to play the short video off the loch, and I'll tell you a little bit as we go through that.
Hey. All right. Ooh.
So, folks, this is us leaving the Caledonian Canal now and entering into Loch Ness. And you'll see straight away that we hit a traffic jam, Highland style. There are two boats within a mile of each other, and that just isn't the done thing on Loch Ness. The loch is very different every day we go out. Sometimes it's bright and it's sunny, and sometimes it's a bit dark and foreboding, but it's always beautiful and it's always mysterious.
Ooh.
We're just out for a bit of fun, as we said, and we can be as flexible as you want to be. Those with chauffeur guides quite often like to be taken the full length of the loch and met at the other end by their driver. That saves on a long drive on the winding road. You'll have seen there a picture of my daughter Ailey and my grandson Hamish driving on the flybridge. Again, we love kids. They're very welcome aboard and they really enjoy the driving. So what we can do is we can take them out, amuse them, and give the adults some time to chill out. When we're out on the loch, we usually pick a fairly nice, fairly sheltered spot where we can pull over and have a nice Highland-themed buffet with a few glasses of wine. I mean, generally speaking, it's simple food, prawns, smoked salmon, beef, cheeses, soft fruits, that sort of things. But we can really do anything that you want within reason if we get a bit of notice. When we stop for that bite, that's usually when we crack open the malt whiskey and we let everybody enjoy a few drams. We would love to join you at that point, but of course, somebody has to stay sober to drive the boat. Don't need to worry about us because we enjoy our own little dram when we're safely back in port. We've heard a legend, we don't know if it's true, we've heard a legend that some people don't like whiskey. And apparently there are some other forms of spirit out there that are available. If you've heard of any of these and you would like them on board, you just need to let us know. Until then, we will just continue to believe that these spirits are a legend. That's Uckert Castle that you're seeing there. We can take you there. We can drop you off. Beautiful, iconic views. One of the things about us is there's no word in the Highland dialect that expresses the urgency of manana. So we can follow a schedule if you want, but the reality is we love talking, we love new company. We quite often stop, we quite often have a few drams, we start telling stories, and before we know it, our time is up. And as I say, if the driver tells us we have to be back by a certain time, we can do it. If not, we can.
No worries.
In the day.
Than intended, and that's one of the great things about being retired. So as I say, the most famous resident in the area obviously is Nessie, but she's a very canny beastie. I've spent 30 years out on the loch in various forms, and those 30 years I've only ever seen her 3 times. So we can't guarantee a sighting, but there is the odd one now and again. So unfortunately I don't have time to tell you all about that today, but hopefully we can meet up soon, some of us, and have a wee dram and a few stories about Nessie and other things. So anyway, thanks for joining us in Inverness today. Stay safe and take care.
Well, I don't want to skip past the fact that you said you've seen Nessie 3 times. So you made that like I've only seen her 3 times, but holy moly. Was she friendly to you?
She's lovely. She's absolutely lovely. All these stories about her eating things are terrible. Having said that, if you have a child and you don't particularly want to take it back with you, we know somebody who'll eat her.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Gary. That was amazing.
Take care.
So I think we're headed to Ashley next, right? Ashley, you ready for us?
Hi, guys. How are you? Welcome to Gleneagles, the glorious playground of Gleneagles. My name is Ashley Thompson, and we have a couple of friends with us today. Also joining us on the call today is Rachel Williamson, who is my colleague based in California. And we also have today Steve from our Falconry Centre and Hamish, one of our hawks. So we will fly the birds, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Gleneagles. We're a beautiful Scottish country estate in the heart of Scotland. Super easy to get to, and a lovely spot on your tour, whether your group's coming here to Gleneagles and then maybe spending some time in the city, or you're individuals and you're travelling around the country. We're right in the middle, so it's very, very easy to get to, especially when it's not in COVID times. So we have 850 acres of land. We have a whole host of country pursuits. We have over 50 different country pursuits. And falconry is my personal favourite, so that's why we're doing it today. We also have 9 bars and restaurants in our hotel. So everything from a craft beer pub all the way through to Scotland's only 2 Michelin star restaurant. There's something for everyone. We have 233 beautifully appointed suites, so it feels like you're home from home in your club when you're in Scotland. But I'm going to take you outside now with my trusty selfie stick, because Hamish is getting a little bit restless here. So we're going to walk outside, and I will show you what we're going to do with the birds.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so here we go. I've just wrapped up. Okay. So, Steve, we're going to head outside.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to fly the bird. So I'm just going to try and flip my camera around so you can see Steve and Hamish heading out on our 850 acres of land. And this is our Falconry School here, where we also do off-roading, there's gun dogs, and there's ferrets as well. But just watching the birds fly is quite amazing. Great activity for groups. If you have a group coming in, you could do a falconry display. We have we also have hawks, of course. We have hawks. We've talked about them, but we have an eagle as well. So you could have an eagle appearance. And then for individuals, it's great for families. At the moment, we're having families stay for almost. Oh, Hamish is getting a bit lazy. He knows it's Friday.
I'm getting boomerang bird.
Yeah.
Like, where's my weed ram?
Families, it's great. You know, we can do long extended stays. We've got families in house just now for, he's definitely playing up. Families in house for
like my dog.
Almost 10 nights.
He's the boss.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So an amazing
Wow.
experience for you, and we'd love to welcome your guests. So thank you for having us today. So it's bye from Hamish, bye from Steve.
Oh, bye.
Oh, he's giving you a bye. And
Bye.
thank you so much for having us, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you when you're in Scotland.
Thank you.
Awesome. Amazing.
Just to add, Gleneagles is also the perfect finishing stop for when you go to Scotland. People don't realise how close Edinburgh and Glasgow are. So you can stay in Gleneagles whether you're flying out from Edinburgh or Glasgow. And it's something people don't think of. And it's an absolutely fantastic property. Like when I was there this week, the amount of activities they put on for people who've chosen to stay for longer amounts of time. So like we were just blown away with the just the plethora of activities there for families, but for young and old alike. It really is a fantastic property in a wonderful location.
Amazing. All right. Well, we're going to
guys.
Yeah. We're going to head over to Fiona, who is on the Waverley, which is the last seagoing paddle steamer in the world.
Hi, everybody. I'm not actually on the Waverley. I'm about to show you a film on the Waverley. I'm here on the east coast of Scotland, not so very far from St Andrews. And it is so sunny here right now. I've actually had to close my shutters because it looked like I was on the moon. It's that bright. So I am what's called a Blue Badge Scottish tourist guide. I cover the whole of Scotland, taking groups from all over the world to whichever bit of Scotland they want to see. And when Giovanna said, what could you talk about? Of course, I could talk about anything and everything. And I suggested the paddle steamer Waverley because it's actually new to me. So I'm just learning about it too. It's a very old ship. It's not new, but it is new to me, and it runs out of Glasgow. And so the film that you're hopefully about to see is a trip I took last Friday on an equally sunny day out of the city of Glasgow down the Clyde estuary.
So I'm going to play the video, and I'll mute it, and you just talk us over it if you would.
Happily talk over it. It is a paddle steamer, as I've said, and that makes it very unusual. There used to be a lot of paddle steamers in the world. I'm sure all Americans know about the paddle steamers on the Mississippi. This is one of the few that is still functioning, and it's a charity, and people take it for trips generally down the Clyde. However, it does go down to London. It has gone all the way around the United Kingdom before. It doesn't do that very often, but it has done that. And it is ocean going. It has to have a certificate, a license, in order for it to be permitted to go all the way around the UK. Otherwise, it's in coastal waters. This is the Firth of Clyde. Look at the lovely scenery. Wow. Firth is a Scottish word for an estuary, and the Clyde is simply the name of the river. But the geography of the River Clyde really is quite fantastic. It's very unusual, it's very convoluted, it's a very indented river. The coastline is quite amazing. This is just sections of the actual paddle steamer, which, as you can see, is functioning. That's how it gets anywhere. It was a beautiful day. Every day it does different trips on a sort of weekly program. You can book it. You can actually book it for private hire. There is a massive dining room, so you can have dinner on board. This is me actually going into the bridge. It's not actually normal to be allowed up on the bridge. I made my request and they agreed, and I got into the bridge because obviously they're not going to want lots of tourists up there, but you do get a great view because you're so high up. And I was able to speak to the captain, who I will tell you, however, is actually very shy and didn't want to be on the film. So this was me on the bridge. It reminded me a little bit of the Royal Yacht Britannia. It's the same sort of age. So the Royal Yacht Britannia was 1955 it was built. This is slightly older, but not much older. But it's just a beautiful, we actually refer to paddle steamer Waverley as an old lady. And it really is a lovely, lovely ship. It is a charity, so they raise funds all the time to keep it going. Of course, they charge for trips. As I've said already, mostly on the Clyde. I went to, there's Kilcreggan, so we pulled into Kilcreggan, a lovely part of the Firth of Clyde on the coast. and picked up quite a few passengers there. And we proceeded on to the island of Bute. But occasionally it goes to Arran, it goes to Dunoon, it goes to various parts on this Firth of Clyde. You really need to look at a map to understand the geography. It's very varied and really very beautiful. It's a lovely part of Scotland. This is not my part of Scotland. I've said already I'm from the East Coast, but nobody goes to the West Coast of Scotland and fails to be wowed by the scenery. And we were just very fortunate. A week ago today, this was taken. The sun was shining. It was blowy. You've heard already the expression a hoolie. So it was blowing a hoolie then as well.
I can play a little bit of that bagpipe.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Incredible. Man, that sound carries.
That's an interesting boat there. That was that's the Glen Lee, and the Glen Lee would have taken emigrants from Glasgow to America. That's the actual ship that took a lot of emigrants from Scotland across to America. It's part of a transport museum. It's berthed alongside Glasgow's Transport Museum.
That was probably a traumatic ride.
Yeah, you'd definitely have to have sea legs. I think I would have been violently seasick.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible! Thank you so much, Fiona. That was
not at all. You're very welcome. Paddle steamer Waverley, if you need to look it up.
And it shows you the options that are available in Scotland. Like people, as you know, Fiona said, it's not just the Royal Britannia. It's not just going to Tattoo, go to the Braemar Highland Games. There's so many other options that we all have to consider when we're traveling to Scotland as well. So who's next?
Amazing.
Next is the other Siobhan.
Hello. Siobhan here at Blair Estate. Welcome, everybody. And Blair Estate is one of the oldest castles in Scotland, dating back to 1105, set in 200. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we got you.
Okay,
I'm on a meeting right now.
We need to mute somebody. Give us a second.
Okay.
You keep talking.
So I'll just say welcome again. I'm Siobhan at Blair Estate. Blair Estate is one of the oldest Scottish castles, dating back to 1105, and the estate is set in, it's 220 acres, but the castle itself is beautiful. And I'm going to introduce you now to Sally Hendry, who bought the property back 9 years ago. And Sally comes from she was business development director at the Mandarin Oriental, so 5-star luxury is in her blood. But I just wanted to introduce you to her here. So I'm just going to turn the camera around so that you can see her here. So this is Sally, and over to you.
Welcome everybody to Blair. We did buy it in 2012. I have to say a call out to Gleneagles, because we in fact went to Gleneagles to buy a timeshare, and my husband said there's something else for us to look at on Sunday. And we drove down the drive here, walked in here, and you'll see our drawing room in a minute. And we just decided that was it. We were going to buy it. So we absolutely adore it here. We've done it. We've got 17 bedrooms, and we basically, having got my background in hospitality, we wanted to create a home that feels like a home, but has 5-star service. So we make it available for, we call it here exclusive use, but I think in America it's probably a buyout. But it comes with, we have a butler, we have all our house staff, and our executive chef, and Siobhan is our head of business development. So what we do is we make it available for a few nights a year for people to take it as their home. So it's very, very relaxed, but hopefully you'd have fantastic service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through to the dining room, which is paddled by William Fordyce Blair in 1890-ish. And this is the room here, and then I'm going to hand you over to Siobhan, who will explain about it.
You can see it. So this is the William Fordyce. He was actually a very successful captain in Queen Victoria's Navy. She had a pirate ship with a fantastic booty, and some of that money he was able to keep. He used to add an extra wing to the castle. So I'm just going to take you back actually this way briefly, so you can have a look out of the window at the lovely gardens and the river that runs through the estate. And then I'm going to come back, I'm trying not to do this too quickly, to the table here. We've set it up for 20. Just wanted to give you a feel of what it's like to have a wonderful dinner here with us. But we can actually dine up to about 50 in this dining room, depending on what a particular party wants. And here I'm just going to show you here on this magnificent shield and also here the Blair initials all detailed in the woodwork, which is fantastic. There's a little store there that leads to a private sitting room, entertaining or for meetings or whatever. And I'm going to lead you through now. Again, we're just going to go across to the 1668 drawing room. So this was added in 1668 by William Fordyce Blair. It was originally 2 rooms. The ladies would gather at the far end and the gentlemen at this end. And you can see 2 wonderful open fireplaces, lots of lovely natural light. And as Gary was saying, obviously in Scotland, we love to share stories, wonderful to sit by the fire, enjoy a whiskey or 2 and chat and, just enjoy the space that you have. And up here, what we want to do as well, I'm just going to show you a bit more. And one of the things to show you is actually the ceiling. We've got beautiful ceiling work here, and it symbolises all the heraldic motifs from William Fordyce Blair, and then he married Lady Margaret Hamilton. So it's all their their motifs all put into the ceiling here. But we haven't got time to show you the beautiful gardens. There are 32 acres of stunning private gardens that are maintained beautifully. But if you bear with me, I'm going to hand you over to Sally. She's going to hang out the window, and I'm going to hold her legs so we don't lose her.
Do bear with me while I hang out the window here.
Is this like a Blarney stuff?
Okay, the sun is kind of shining. And so there is a swimming pool hidden away just over there, but we tend to use that as the family only. But I'll sort of scan round here for you so that you can get a view. Sorry, the sun's gone in now, but we've been restoring this since we arrived. This is our herbaceous border here. I'm now going to do it upside down, so don't feel seasick or anything like that. And we've been trying to restore it so that back to what it was like in 1790 and then the Victorian time. So we've got a 5-acre wall garden in the distance, which we have taken 600 Christmas trees out, which were nearly 100 foot tall. And we are restoring that as well. Unfortunately, it's the same size as the Prince of Wales at Dumfries House down the road from here, but he got a £3 million grant to do his, and unfortunately we don't have the same grant available. But I'm just going to quickly, I'm slightly up here in the curtains, we're just going to show you the front view.
Oh yes, I'm just going to take you over to the other side of the drawing room, just so that you can see what actually happens when you come through the gates at Blair. You drive through a double line of lime trees, and then you come along the driveway here, round and up the driveway to the house itself. So very impressive sort of entrance. But the beauty with Blair as well is that we're just 25 minutes from Glasgow Airport. It's really, really easy access. We're 15 minutes from the coast, so fantastic opportunity to go and explore Scottish islands and wildlife watching, etc. And because of all the grounds that we have, 220 acres in the grounds, we can offer lots of different activities here on the estate, which is great fun as well. So we're finding that people are looking to stay for just a little bit longer, so we're extending our activities list quite a bit. So I'm just going to change the camera around just to see you all again, and just to say thank you so much for your time today, and we hope we can welcome you to Blair soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I have to add that I was in Blair this week, and Blair as a property is one of the top properties for rental in Scotland without a doubt. But what makes it so unique is the gardens. If you have any love for gardens at all, if you stay there, if you saw the woodlands, if you saw the private gardens, it's really just breathtaking. Your breath, you won't be able to breathe when you see it. It's amazing, like fantastic. And we're going over to Charles Hunter, I believe, now.
Hey, Charles, welcome. If you'll unmute for us. There we go.
Hi there, how are you?
Hey.
And a very warm welcome to Castle Leoch. And those of you who are Outlander fans may recognise it. This is the home of the Clan Mackenzie. And for those of you who are not Outlander fans and maybe don't know about the show, I've been asked to give you a little introduction to it. And it tells the tale of a young lady who comes from the 20th century, a woman called Claire. And she is transported by a wonderful, mysterious stone circle back to 1743. And there she goes through various adventures, but then is finally met and looked after and picked up and taken back to this castle by a young Highland hunk of a Highlander called Jamie Fraser.
Yeah!
Now, some of you may quite like the look of Jamie Fraser. He's quite a handsome fellow. And they've done very well filming here at the castle. They've been filming now for about 6 years. They're on about the 5th series. And the story goes that when Claire was brought here to the castle, many of the clansmen were very wary of her because she had this extraordinary knowledge of medicine. And it turned out she was a nurse in the 20th century, hence she had a wonderful medical knowledge. They were also suspicious of her because she only spoke English. Now, English, the term for an English speaker was a Sassenach, and that's the nickname that Jamie subsequently gave to Claire in the TV show. Now, it went on not just in Scotland, they went over to France and also across the big ocean to North America as well. But it's still running, they're still filming, and I think after COVID, they're going to go back to filming some more. So, amazing. The castle itself dates from slightly before 1400. It was built by a couple of guys called Stuart, one of whom was the first Duke of Albany. He later was executed, so the castle was taken over by the king. And it was then used as a hunting lodge for the kings and queens and their courtiers. It's also been used in other movies and was used for filming Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And later, and more recently, was part of the Game of Thrones series when the castle was renamed as Winterfell. So I hope you enjoy the castle. It's within easy reach of Edinburgh and Glasgow, and I'd be very happy to show you around this and other Outlander locations, which are easily reachable also from Glasgow and Edinburgh. So I'm very much looking forward to meeting you if you can make it across the sea from North America, South America, or even Central America. It's been great to see you today, and as Jamie would say in the old Gaelic, Ai Kiva, which means goodbye.
Oh, Ai Kiva. Much.